Now call the order. We need to approve the agenda.
Make a motion to approve the agenda. Aye.
How about second?
I'll
Jenny?
second it.
Okay.
Aye.
Aye.
Need a motion to approve the consent agenda.
I'll make a motion to approve the consent agenda.
Second. Aye.
Aye.
We're now open for public comments and the meeting rules of conduct. Matt,
What are we allowed to put down at the dump? Is it just tree branches? Or can we put other wood down there too?
Only tree branch, like you can't put like, 2x4s and that kind of stuff, no building.
You guys need to watch it closer because a friend of mine has a picture of wood out there and Ron was pushing the pile together.
Yeah, we saw that. We just gotta catch it.
thank you. Anybody else? Yes. About time.
On behalf of Joyce and I, we want to thank the city very much for letting us use 4 picnic tables yesterday. She talked to Laura, she said, anything we needed, we used 4 for out at Marshall Lane Celebration of Life.
Good.
And to add to that, I would like to volunteer. They look really rough.
Mhm.
There's a lot of staples in a couple of them that need to be pulled. The paint's coming off, they need straight repainted, and one of them, the seat boards broke loose from the frame. If somebody could repair that, and if you guys want to get paint, I will gladly volunteer to spray the paint.
Absolutely, and we already have paint, so, maybe we could get Rod to fix. Yeah, maybe we could get Rod to fix that real quick, and Paula has the paint that we've got.
I just know one that we had, they went to lift it, and the
Okay.
seat came off.
Are the other ones ready to, I mean, other than scraping, there's nothing that needs repaired on the other ones?
No, I don't know, Paula, I only
Okay.
saw the one, we need to probably check them and make sure
Okay.
they're all stable.
Okay,
But I think when we tried to wipe bird crap off them, the paint was just peeling off.
okay.
They were big, big chunks. But we only have 4, so I don't know how many's down there that we have to do, but
I think that's great that you want to do that.
I would.
Let us know.
We-
I'll help her.
Keep us posted on what,
Okay.
if there's something else we can do to.
And if we can do that
keep this
before,
Project moving.
if we
I can
can,
only do like maybe evenings or a weekend.
yeah, and if we can do, if it would be before the fun days
If
thing,
at all possible.
because
Yeah.
I think
Yeah.
Lions Club still has a,
Try to get it in this
Thing.
month.
Yeah. yeah, okay, I'll get
I
with
feel
you.
it needs done for it to look
Yeah,
nice. I will
absolutely.
gladly volunteer.
Great, thank you for your
Thank you very much.
volunteer
You're welcome.
stuff, thank you.
But the family really appreciated. They didn't think that we would have to go down together.
Yes, we had 2, and then we got 2 more, so.
Got 2 more, so.
Okay, good,
So thank you guys very
Thank
much.
you.
yeah.
And I know Matt and Michelle will say thank you.
Anybody else?
Well, I just
You're
like,
on.
I'm on?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, those that don't know, Lions Jam, been where the Kennedys used to live, and it will be called the Kennedy House for a long time, so I was one of the gorillas to move that rock. But what I do, I used to be a chaplain for St. Croix Hospice, and I go into 17 different care centers around the state and do just hymns to the residents. And I don't know, somebody brought up, you go to all these care centers, why don't you do one locally? And so I stopped in the office and they said, well, the city council will have to approve. I just volunteer my time to approve using that.
You have some kind of itinerary or what you do or anything?
Yeah, well, yes and no, it depends. Because I go into care centers, most care centers don't have, like there's 17 different I go to and everyone has a different hymnal. So I don't usually publish which ones I'm gonna do because not all facilities have the same hymnal.
But, and
I can't-
generality, just what,
So I sing for about an hour. I do mostly older hymns, In the Garden, Amazing Grace. I do everything I do is by request at these care centers, so I do a lot of that kind of stuff. And then I also do some songs that have been requested that aren't hymns. It is no secret what God can do, On the Wings of the Snow White Dove, some things like that. And I just get together and if people can sing, they want to if they want to sing with me, they can sing with me, if they just want to listen, they can listen, it's up to them. But I thought, if I go, 90 miles to Indianola to do, these hymn sings, why not stay in Grand Junction and do it? So, anyway, I just wanted to, that's it.
I guess, I feel like we need to, we can't vote on it tonight
Sure.
anyway, because it's not on the agenda. How often do you do this?
As often as you want to. Since I live here in Grand Junction,
Okay.
I usually do once a month. I go into, like, Regis Park in Jefferson, I go
Okay.
once a month.
Okay, what house do you live in?
Where the Kennedy.
Jerry Kennedy's.
Next to me. He
Oh,
Oh, see,
keeps me straight.
I kept hearing you say the candy house. I wasn't catching it quite
I
right,
wasn't
so
either. I didn't-
it doesn't matter, I was just curious where you live, and okay, well,
And so you wanna come in and use the center once a month?
Yeah, just whatever, just to come in and just do hymns and, someone suggested, using one of the churches, but I've been doing this for 31 years, and my experience is if you do it in a church, people who don't want to go to that church aren't going to come. If you do it in a place, a central place, then more people come. That's just
And it'd be during the day?
whenever you want to do it, whenever, usually be at, the best time is at night in a place like this. I go down in Knoxville, I do one at Knoxville, but at night, but whenever it's convenient, and, it might be something you guys say, no, and that's fine. I just wanted to,
how about if you get your information to Wendy, and we can kind of talk about it and decide and get back with you.
yeah, that's fine.
And how many people do you expect to come typically?
Oh, when I go to Bethany Care Center in Story City, and I'll have 35. And I go to the church in Knoxville, I'll have 20 to 25. Some places will have closer to 50. Each place is different.
Okay, and so do you think that you would primarily just have people from Grand Junction coming?
That'd be my guess, yeah.
Okay.
and is this something that you just do for free of charge
Yeah.
to anybody who wants to come? Do you have like a donation jar that sets out or something so that if anybody wants to donate to you?
I never have.
Okay.
I always volunteer my time. I never have. In however many years, I've never received any money for it.
Okay.
I volunteer my time to do it.
Okay.
If you want to, I'll turn it out.
Right.
How do you get the word out that you're doing this? You
Um,
just go door to door?
Well, usually, because I do it in care centers, usually they'll put it on their, like,
Agenda
their,
thing or
their,
schedule.
activities calendar. So if it were something like if I did it here, when I go to, church in Knoxville, it's more word of mouth. People, they do Facebook posts and things like that, so. To be honest with you, I've never done something like this, what would be at a community center, well, I guess I do in Stratford, where I passed the First Baptist Church in Stratford, but there people know me because I've been in the but,
Well, this is something you definitely need to discuss,
Right.
because we've made rules up for other people,
sure,
and so,
no,
That's why I think we table it, you get the information to Wendy, and somebody will be in touch with you.
Yeah, that's fine.
I think that's the best way to handle that from here.
and your name is,
Jim,
well, welcome to Grand Junction.
thank you.
You have anything?
I'm on the agenda here.
Oh, I see, okay.
Yes.
Anybody else? Moving on. New business. Vote on removing current attorney, city attorney. Oh,
Yes. We have no contract with our current city attorney, but we have decided to move in a different direction. And so the first thing that we need to do, we've been advised that it's best to vote and have a record that we are getting rid of our current attorney. So I make a motion that we remove our current city attorney
That's what they.
as of today. Yeah, today.
I'll second it.
Aye.
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 Motion passed. We'll continue on.
Okay, and then, need to discuss and vote on hiring Brandon Homer as our new city attorney. He is with Hoyt, Moraine, and Homer out of Jefferson, and this is Brandon sitting here with us. Laura and I had met with him a few weeks ago and talked to him about how this would work for us, and he is willing to take us on and help us
Brave.
when he can. Yeah, yes, I think so. Does anybody have any questions or anything that they would like to ask?
Where'd you graduate from?
Undergrad was Simpson College and then Drake Law School. I've been working in the area for about 7 years now. My wife and I live in Jefferson.
Okay.
And we do a lot of municipal work. We represent the city of Jefferson and I represent another small town nearby. So
Can you tell us who?
I don't think it'd be a problem. It's public record. City of Dana.
Dana?
He did say because he did tell us,
Did she lay an egg over there or what?
he did tell us that because he has other clients that they work with, if it comes to a point where we are needing him for something and he already has them as a client, we need to be aware that he will have to turn us down, but he will help us head towards somebody who can help us at that time.
Yeah, anytime that there's a conflict between concurrent or previous clients, I couldn't represent either side. Unless it's a waivable conflict, which when it comes to municipal stuff, we just assume not be in the middle of things and then ask other attorneys to assist.
Okay.
What kind of record do you have on getting things done, such as getting properties cleaned up? Do you go after it with a good vigor, or do you just, do you actually get with it?
I mean, I suppose it depends on the direction of the council. It's up to you guys to decide on properties that need to be cleaned up, and then we work on things as
We'll go after it.
Yeah. We have experience with that.
Okay. I'm going to make a motion that we hire Brandon Homer as our new city attorney effective immediately.
Second?
Aye.
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 Thank you. Discuss vote beer permit closing the road for the parade during fun days. Laura.
Do you ladies have any information about this that I need to know before I say anything? Because it's the same as last year, is that correct?
Yeah, as far as 13th Street.
Right, okay. And you want it closed starting Friday morning, Thursday night? Tomorrow?
When the carnival starts coming in.
Okay,
So I don't have the information on when the carnival is gonna start coming in.
okay. And let's see, the beer permit. All the paperwork is done the way it should be, I'm assuming. I mean, I don't have anything in front of me, so I'm gonna assume that you've got
I
it.
haven't got an email back that everything's been approved, but it'll happen before the next meeting.
Okay, all right. I'm just gonna make a motion that we go ahead and let them have beer at their fun day. What was that?
I said it better happen before the next meeting. That's fun days, it's before
Yes.
the next meeting.
That's why it's Matt.
And then I also gonna add to that we go ahead and let them close the road as needed. 13th Street, it's the ballpark road. I guess when it's needed and get it opened up as quick as possible.
I think last year too, they asked Mounts not to park their semis on that side because they use that for parking for the thing, if you
There
will.
was no parking other than them there last year. I live on the same road, but nobody parked there.
They, are some of the
You
vendors.
talked
Okay,
to
so,
out there, though?
yeah, that will,
Are the vendors gonna be, right?
Okay,
I believe the vendors are all gonna be,
Okay.
I don't know that,
And what,
yeah,
that's, you got the date on
August.
4th?
and fifth.
Yeah, 4th and 5th is when the fun days actually are, but they're gonna need setup of some sort, so we're gonna want the road. But I mean, it doesn't really affect anybody. I mean, it does, but it's not like the buses are coming in or if there's a house right there, we can certainly drive around. So I make a motion, we allow the beer permit and we allow the closing of that road as needed.
Second.
Aye.
Hey, Jake, you're up on Casey alcohol and tobacco.
I made a motion to approve Casey's, alcohol and tobacco permits.
Second.
Aye.
Discussion and vote on removing of the trailers and clean up the junk property. Rob.
I'll make this quick. Do you guys want to see all the pictures, or how do you want to do that? Okay.
How many, how many properties? Do you have the number?
I believe it's 21.
I don't know that I need to see.
I did put. These are the ones that have to be, that should be addressed right now.
Okay.
They have a little star in front of them. Those are the ones that I think should be addressed. The trailer on Main Street's in there too. There's quite a few.
I'm sorry?
There's quite a few, and there's some that we should inspect also before we do anything. And I don't know, I need to get with the attorney on that.
Are these all like abandoned places? I mean, are there people living in any of these places?
There is on 808 across 30 there.
Oh, okay, gotcha,
That's the one we get complaints on.
Oh, okay.
gotcha, yeah.
Okay, so we've sent abatement letters, and that abatement letter basically says, hey, you need to clean up your
Yes.
property, the, ordinance, blah, blah, blah. And so you sent out these letters. And those letters state they have how much time to
I
fix?
gave them 30 days.
30 days. When did you send these letters out?
Wendy's still looking at, I mean.
They don't go out tomorrow.
Oh, so they haven't gone out yet.
No, I wanted to make sure. everything-
So we are gonna send these letters out, then by next meeting, if nothing's done, then we decide if we're gonna move forward with stuff essentially. Is that, am I?
Yeah, so it would be helpful if I could send copies of the drafted abatement letters that you prepared to send out. Part of the abatement process is that people have to get an opportunity to be heard. So if they disagree with your assessment of the nuisance or the junk or whatever the case might be, then at the next public hearing, or at the next public meeting, sorry, some people might show up wanting to be heard. Now they have to provide notice of wanting a public hearing on it. But if you could provide me copies of those letters, I would be happy to look at them.
Do you want them emailed to you?
Yeah, I'll give you my business card before I get started. Yeah.
Some of these most of them are ongoing with the other attorney. And I don't know what he was doing with them, is the communication part there wasn't always there.
I think we're just gonna need to move forward with starting fresh, essentially.
And that's why I sent out all brand new letters, that way we just start fresh with the attorney.
Yeah, so to answer your question, Laura, the proper procedure would be assuming that proper notice is given and the opportunity to be heard has come and gone and nobody has either done anything or shown up and wanting to contest the letter.
Okay.
Then the city would have the option to vote on whether you want to go and abate it yourself and then assess those costs to the property owner. So, but we have to make sure the proper procedure is being followed, so.
Okay. I don't know if we need to vote on anything, but I guess get the letter to him to look at to make sure it says what it needs to say. Then once we get the okay, get them sent out. So then we can start moving forward and decide what exactly we want to do as a council.
Yeah, and as far as action that the council would need to take tonight, I did briefly review, seeing the agenda item, I reviewed your nuisance abatement ordinances prior to the meeting. And it's not, the council doesn't have to vote on each specific property. The mayor and his designee, Adrian Rod, can make a determination as to a nuisance, send the abatement letters out, and then the process starts from there. So you guys don't actually have to vote on that tonight.
Great, thank you.
Now, would you like all of these? Because I've got,
Yeah, I see the stack there, but it would be best if I took a look at.
and then I have one more question too. I did mow 2 properties, and I gave the list to Wendy. Now, do we have to give that to the mayor and vote on it to send that to their back taxes, or how's that work?
So were they provided, these properties that you already mowed, were they provided a lawn height notice prior to the mowing occurring? In the paper, okay. Let me look at the ordinance on that to see if you can just apply the special assessment without a vote. I'll get back to you on that.
The old attorney, or the old lady up in the assessor's office, like, what's her name up there?
Jane.
No, not that one, not the other one.
Anyway.
That's related to cable. That's up,
Donna.
Donna. Okay, she said all that had to be done was record the time, the type of equipment, and how long it took, and just write it on a piece of paper, and then give it to her at the end of the year, and she would assess it to their taxes.
Yeah, that's probably right, but the property owner is.
Sure.
Notice.
Right, yeah, that's what she said years back.
Okay. Well, thank you, Rod.
Discussion on the sale of the Grundy property.
So it was brought to my attention prior to the meeting that you guys acquired 206 6th Street South via a nuisance abatement proceeding that went before the court. And Laura and Paula had mentioned that you guys would be potentially interested in selling the property, which has it's a multi-step process. So first step, there's really no action to be done tonight, other than we need to kick the proceeding. So we need to get started. So the first step would be either, if you have interested persons already that have approached the city council with the prospective buyer, the price, and then any potential terms or conditions, like, I understand the property has already been demoed, and it's just a bare lot now.
Yes.
So, for instance, if the city council wanted to make it a condition of the sale that another single-family residential building had to be put on there, then that's a condition of the purchase agreement that would need to be drafted. So you would either want to solicit offers by way of just word of mouth, or my suggestion, if you have multiple people that would potentially be interested, is doing the sealed bid process. The council can set a date for sometime between now and the next council meeting to shut off the sealed bids, and with the understanding that the best bid is the one that's gonna get to take the cake, so to speak. At the next council meeting, my recommendation would be, if you have people that are interested in purchasing the property at set terms, or if you have a sealed bid that you're willing to accept, the sealed bid process wouldn't necessarily include the city council's right to not take any of the bids if somebody comes in at $1 or something like that. But at the next council meeting, if you have people interested and you have the terms set, we can prepare a purchase agreement, which outlines all the terms of the purchase on behalf of the city, of course. And then you would have, again, my recommendation would be a resolution proposing the purchase agreement at the next council meeting. And then state law requires that anytime a municipality relinquishes, sells, or gifts real estate, you have to have a public hearing. So the next council meeting would be a resolution proposing the sale based on the terms of the purchase agreement. And then setting hearing for what we usually do for the other municipalities that are doing this is set public hearing for the next council meeting. So that would be, I think, the September 11th council meeting, if I have my calendar right. Have a public hearing on the proposed sale that day, and you can also, assuming that the council wants to continue to move forward, you can have a resolution approving of the sale. And then we'll get the purchase agreement signed by the mayor and the clerk, and closing would happen within, X number of days from that. It's a process, but it ultimately gets the property back on the tax roll, which is good for the city.
This would work with any lot Grand Junction has.
Yeah. Yep.
So tonight then, if I'm understanding this right, you're saying that we need to decide how we're going to sell it tonight.
Right, yeah. I mean, unless, if you want to kick the can down the road another, I mean, you don't have to do anything tonight, but it sounded to me like you guys were interested in doing something. So it's as you know, it's about a 2-month process just to get to the point where the city can approve of a purchase agreement, after the public hearing has occurred.
And so if we decide how we're gonna sell it, let's say we decide sealed bids,
Yep.
and then, like you said, we have the option to refuse any bid if it's too low, any and all bids.
My suggestion would be that the council
Okay.
structure it that way.
And then would tonight we also vote on, we need to have a home put back on that spot?
That's
or
up to the council. I only suggested that, or I only said it, because sometimes we dealt with that being a condition of the sale of the property. It's public record, and Jefferson has had this happen quite a few times in the last few years, where they demolish a building and they want another residence put on the building, so they make a deal with the purchaser that you have to put up another structure. You don't have to do that, but if that's something the council wants, that needs to be part of the purchase agreement, so that the purchaser is bound by that condition.
And that way it brings in more taxes, so you're actually better off to do that as opposed to somebody who just wants to, I don't know, bale it for hay.
Sure, but again, that's up to the council, it's not up
Right.
to the attorney to
Right,
decide.
right, I'm just making sure that everybody, including myself, understands what we're kind of looking at here.
Yep.
Okay. Yeah.
Now, is there a difference, selling property and like, say, city equipment, is there any difference there?
I think that the statute on the sale of the equipment, well, of the sale of city-owned property would include equipment as well. I'd have to take a look at that
I
for sure.
thought, it had to be, put up for bid, it had to go in and be put up for bid. I mean, it's not just, you can't say just this one person said he'd give this much and he's the only one that's gonna get the.
So I can tell you from experience that the city council does not have to put the lot up for bid. It can, if you had a purchaser that was out there that, now, it's gonna go before the city council and it's gonna be in front of a public hearing. So if the residents disagree with whatever the terms of the purchase are, you're gonna hear about it, of course. at that
Okay, I
meeting.
just wanted to clear that up. Okay.
Yeah, no, so you have the two options. You don't have to offer it for bid, but, we certainly have experience with that.
So if we have somebody that says, I will give you $15,000 for that right now today, we could say, all right, we're gonna accept that and not put it out for bids at all.
So you can't actually accept the offer formally until you go through the process of the resolution, the public hearing, and then the final resolution approving of the purchase agreement. But we can start the process of, here's the offer that's been presented to the city council, here's what's going in front of the public.
Can we start it as, let's go with sealed bids, and if between now and the next meeting, somebody comes and says, I will give you this much. Once we start it as sealed bids, do we have to continue it as sealed
I
bids?
think if the council were to vote on a sealed bid process, you're stuck with it.
Okay,
So,
that's my question.
but to me, I mean, that might be the most fair way of selling the property, is taking bids and then seeing who's the highest bidder, so.
As a council, are we ready to get rid of or potentially sell this property so we don't have to, one, maintain it, at least, at the very least, maintain it?
I don't know, the last time you guys have driven down there, it needs to be mowed. The weeds are 4 feet high.
Part of the problem.
That's in one part of it.
Yeah, and I think part of the problem, if I understand it right, is that you can't take a tractor back in there because there's trees that have been cut off and that kind of stuff, and we're gonna puncture a tire.
So we need to get somebody in there with a plow or disc or something. What do you need? A tiller? I mean,
I don't think I
Right.
want to put anything in.
Yeah, that's why that's so, am I right? Yeah, there are stumps in there, and
Can you take a weed eater in there?
Oh,
probably not with, which on the other hand, if we sell it, they get it as is.
Right.
I'm gonna throw out another option.
all right.
There's a place in Kansas, it's Marquette, Kansas, and they had a guy in town like this. Or, I shouldn't say that, but. And they had these lots, so what they did and there's pros and cons to it, and I looked at both sides of it. They offered to give this lot away, but they had, within 18 months, they had to put a house on.
But we can do it sealed bids and have the
Yeah.
same
Uh,
on there.
It went real good for a while until it was all in one area with a lot of lots. And come to find out with that free lot, they had to pay for the curb and gutter. Well, then, that was the con.
Right.
But the other place where it didn't need that. That's something to think about too, you know. You haven't signed a contract for, I don't know how they did it.
Here's the problem I have here in Grand Junction. You say you gotta do this by a certain date, nobody follows up.
Well, they just want to see something going within 18 months. I mean, I'm just throwing that out there.
Do we think we need to have a house? Does a house include business? If somebody wanted to buy it and put a bit like their,
Okay,
a
look-
work building or something?
Look at that part of town, okay, and think, would you wanna build a house there?
I would not. I have a lovely home that I like.
Okay, I'm just saying, I don't think we should put that requirement on.
But I could see somebody wanting it to put, like I said, a
Sure.
work building on that you
Right.
could store your,
Yeah,
Yeah,
That's
that's
what they were trying to get away from, was somebody throwing a shed home at Junction. so.
right, I agree with you.
So
I'm sorry.
how would we can do that, and you have to either put a house or some kind of a business shop or something back there. I mean, we can word it something like that.
Yeah, well, yeah, I guess the question, the answer that I don't know is what's the zoning of that lot? It would have to conform with it, or you'd have to rezone it, which you have to be careful about what's called spot zoning, which means rezoning a specific property just because somebody asks you to do it. It can be discriminatory if you don't follow the proper procedures. But the council can essentially put whatever restrictions they want on it. Now, I would say if it's not zoned for, say, ag, you can't require then somebody to go in there and hay it, but that's not what you want. So, as far as your comment about if nobody comes and offers bids or anything like that by the deadline, then at the next council meeting, if you have somebody in place that has made an offer outside of the bidding process, you could address it at that meeting if you want to move forward with an offer that's been presented.
So,
what have we got accomplished tonight?
well,
I think the council needs to decide, do we want to try and do sealed bids? Do we want to get that process started? Do we think we want to make
I'd like to do sealed bids to see what
That'd
kind of
probably be the
response.
best fare.
But-
do we want to put the
Sealed bids.
stipulation that we want a house on it? We want a business.
Well, I think
with-
the point that being that part of town, I mean, it's too bad we don't have somebody that would like to build an apartment building. I think that'd be perfect for apartments, for single people. One-bedroom apartments, but we don't have anybody that wants to invest in the town, so.
do we have to put that stipulation on now? If we vote to do sealed bids, do we have to say so that anybody doing a sealed bid knows that our stipulation with that is you have to put a house on it or you have to do something?
I would want to know before I was.
Well, I would too.
it.
And I
do.
think a lot of people will just say, you're just wasting my time.
Well, there might,
Yeah.
but we're sitting on it now, so we could, we have another month.
Put that stipulation on it.
How much do we want to get rid of it? I mean, that's kind of what you got to think about too. How much do we want to not have to think about it or be our problem?
Totally.
And what was what, I didn't catch your, and I don't think you had a chance.
My
to answer.
recommendation would be that however you publicize this,
Yeah.
it state that if you have a condition like a single family residence has to go up there or a business or something like that, it should be stated in the publication.
Okay.
Because otherwise.
It's not fair.
Well,
Kenny's right, somebody's just gonna say.
Somebody's gonna come to you and somebody's gonna go to you and you guys might say the different answers
Right.
because, you are still one thing. You gotta have kind of set in stone.
Okay, So sealed bids, right? I mean, we're not voting on this yet, we're just kind of
Sealed bids, yeah.
sealed bids, okay. Then what kind of stipulations do we want on this?
Well, you gotta decide if you wanna put
Okay, here's what I
a
want to know.
minimum.
What would a person want that for if they weren't gonna put a home or a building on it?
Like a shop,
Because they
like a
can't-
storage
It's
shop.
not
or
like they
something.
can buy it and raise goats there, can they?
No.
No,
Can
it's
we-
in the city limits.
I mean,
It should be zoned residential, right?
right? I don't know, that's why I threw that out there.
Could I put up a garage
Some
and,
kind of improvement.
like if I put up a garage so that on Friday nights I can have my family there to have supper? Is a garage considered enough, or does it have to be a house?
But you can do it,
I think you should just go with sealed bids.
Sealed bids and put no stipulations on it?
Yeah.
None. A house or something like that is gonna have more tax money coming in.
Sure. But my thing would be sealed bids.
but somewhere in our book, we got, you can put a garage up, but it has to be on. the
That is
same
not
lot.
correct. That is not correct.
I know.
I looked into it last year, and that is not in our ordinance book anywhere.
Because Linda Spearman made us down there. until I got one year.
It's not in there. You don't have to do that. You don't have to.
Here's the
What were you
problem.
gonna say? I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
Rod was gonna say something.
Not that it matters, but I think I would do the sealed bids, plus I would put in residential. I wouldn't put nothing else in there, because if you put nothing in there, what if somebody puts another trailer on there and it's.
You can't put a trailer in, we've already got that passed in the ordinance in town.
Except it's a double
A
wide.
double.
Yeah, but I mean, you can't just
Just put simple.
Well, my concern is if we can't mow it now because we've got tree stumps and we sell it and we don't put a stipulation in, we're gonna have weeds down there forever. So we need to stipulate, and I don't care if it's residential, I don't care if it's a business, but we gotta put something in so that they have to take care of that.
And a
property.
time frame to get.
Improvements.
Whoever the owner would be, would still be subject to whatever the current city ordinance is on weed or grass height, junk, anything like that. So, I mean, it would be another abatement action down the road if somebody bought it. and
Brandon,
it
did you
wasn't
see
taken care
our
of.
list?
Let me ask you this, could we say sealed bids and then just leave it at that, and then what they can put on there has to be approved, which we already kind of have that because we've got an ordinance, but whatever they decide they're going to put on there has to be prior approved by the council?
I mean, it's all subject to council approval anyway, so I don't see any problem with that.
Okay, let's go
Does
with
that sound okay to everybody?
Yep.
Okay, sealed bids, I make a motion that we start the process to sell the property at 206 6th Street South, which is the Grundon property. We do sealed bids and to be sent where? Do you get them? Is that the
Probably
best?
here would be the most
Okay.
likely. I mean,
Sent to our city
yeah.
clerk? And in that sealed bid, anything that goes on that property has to be prior approved by the council.
And the bid is,
Subject to,
Council.
council, we have to, what are we trying to say?
because we don't wanna.
We can.
If the highest bid we get is
can
$100,
we can
we have a right
reject
to refuse
Yes.
the offer.
Council can reject any and all
We
bids,
have the right to refuse,
any and all bids.
My suggestion would be you set a date for those bids to come in and cut off the time. And if you did the 31st, that would be 3 weeks from today, and that would give me time before the next council meeting. Or even if you did the 7th, to give people almost a whole month.
How about, I think the 30, you think
Let's do the 7th.
the
Because by
7th?
the time you get the ad in, the paper,
True,
Yeah.
okay.
true, because
I would
that'll be
give
next
people
yeah,
week,
enough time.
and then,
And the reason why I made a comment about giving me time is that once you have a bid that you're willing to accept prior to the next meeting, so it will be between the time you cut off bids to before the next meeting on the 14th.
Sealed bids.
I'll have to put together.
No, they're sending them to Wendy. He recommended Wendy,
Okay.
and then she'll
I
just
think
hold
the
them.
city clerk should.
Okay, all right. So I made the motion. Did we pass it?
Second.
Hi,
And I think we go out to, what'd you say, the 7th or something?
Yeah, the 7th.
Extra time.
That would give me a week to get the proper documentation prepared for the next council meeting.
Okay.
So,
Thank you for all the help in that
Of course.
confused mess.
Vote on resolution 2023-0710-01, appointing mayor and city council as supervisors of city employees, which would include Lindsay and Rob, right? I guess, I got a question. Why are you doing this?
We're having some disputes.
Go ahead and,
Yeah.
Kenny,
But on the job description.
hang on a minute, Jerry.
For our city employees, it clearly states that the employees work under the supervision of the mayor and the council. Because the council must be a collective group at the time of supervision. I make a motion that we pass a resolution 2023-0710-01, stating that one selection council member assists the mayor with daily direction of the supervision of the city employees, and we now need to select that city council member.
Read that for me.
Okay, so what it,
And we need to select council member.
yeah, what he's saying is, so that it's not just you, because the council is ultimately over the city employees, but we have to be a collective unit at the time that we make a decision on what he's doing. And so in order to assist you with what he is doing on a daily basis, we now vote and pick one council member to assist the mayor with this.
Okay, because that's what concerned me, because you guys probably don't remember, we had Mayor John McPherson was his name. And he implemented this kind of a deal. And Larry Burkett was like rock. I was down there, Larry Burkett was digging out of the manhole. Here come a council member, I want you over here right now. He no more got over there, a different one come. It's the same as having 6 months.
Right, and we understand that. Right.
You can, but it won't.
Right. And I have talked to the League of Cities on this, and this is how they recommend that we handle this.
And Rod needs to understand, there is priorities. You might be on a job and something comes up and you gotta be switched to do something else. That comes up and there's no choice. Just like I put you on getting those limbs out of the alley so people could get their cars out. It wasn't, you didn't put it there, the light plant guys cut it and left it there. But they called and complained they can't get out of their alley. You're working your ass off, excuse my language, on them trees. And now you gotta stop in the middle of that process, and you gotta go down and clean this alley out. I mean, there's lots of things that come up. The swimming pool
Yeah.
pump quits working. You know, there's a
Yeah.
lot of 100 different things that come up in a day sometimes.
And anyway, but
I'm
by having-
satisfied with your
by
idea.
having one council
You
member
can't have five
to help him,
supervisors.
right.
But
So,
that's kind of, you could read that way.
right. So now,
So collectively, we need to decide who's gonna be that person.
who volunteers? Do I have a volunteer?
Here's what I say, and I'm just gonna throw this out there. Kenny's been doing it. I say Kenny does it until he doesn't.
I'm gonna do it till my, if you want me to do it, I'll do it till my health is gonna be.
And
Right.
then we can move forward with what we need to do.
Rod,
I don't want to interrupt, but I understand what you're saying now, Paul. I do.
right,
And I was gonna tell the attorney, 372.14 states that the mayor is over all departments. And then he has the actually the city council has a choice, and it is by law, to hire a manager, if you wanna call it that.
We can't do that.
Okay, but we can't just say, well, we can't do that, so we're gonna just skip the law. Who cares what the law says? And I'm not arguing that, Kenny, I'm just saying,
If we
I
have.
guess
the
my
money,
biggest
yeah.
thing is, and I don't have a problem with Kenny doing it, I really don't. Kenny, I don't, so don't take it the wrong way.
Oh, I ain't taking it the wrong way.
Can he really do that? And I guess I'm asking the mayor, can he really do that?
Yeah, so generally speaking, the mayor has the ability to delegate powers. I would have to look specifically about supervision of employees, which I didn't have time to do prior to this meeting, but I'm certainly happy to do that. I'm not aware of anything that would prohibit the council from designating a council member to oversee operations of a specific department. It's not unlike councils having a committee on sanitation and streets or something like that, where a council member or two is delegated to do certain things so that not everybody has to go to every single committee meeting or something like that. To answer your question, I'm not aware that it's not allowed. I don't know every aspect of the law, so if you guys would like, I'd be happy to look at it.
But I was concerned over having too many bosses.
Well, and
But
that's
if
why,
you do it like you want
But
to do
the League of Cities said this is how
yes,
to
this
do
is,
it to make it,
yes, it is.
what, legal or
Yep.
whatever the term.
It is a law that the mayor is over because, and that law was made so that he doesn't have 6 bosses, he or she doesn't have 6 bosses. But in the case that the mayor is not always available or, I mean, you're
You know,
a little older than I am,
I can
Jerry,
do a lot
and
of
so-
things, But I don't, it's just like.
you're not
those
necessarily,
girls back there wanted to come to me for the picnic tables. And I've always done it with Matt. Well,
Right.
I said, I'd rather have you talk to the park committee first.
and the two of you, can work it out, and that way, you don't have to be out and about all the time if it doesn't work for you, if we have another council member out and about to help do that.
Well, that probably should be.
So,
Whoever, it's not on there to say who's gonna be there, but
Right,
whoever makes the motion,
yeah,
add a council member.
I make a motion, Kenny is that person.
I will second that, and I will agree to the resolution appointing him until he can no longer do it, and then we will,
Come up with
unless
another
we
plan.
find that is illegal, and then,
Do I need to say that officially? I make the motion to appoint mayor and then Kenny for the resolution 2023-071001, the supervisor of city employees.
So Kenny will be working with her.
and I'm
if he
seconding
needs
it,
to.
so whatever.
Jake helps me a lot, Jake does.
And it's not
Okay.
that we won't help, it's not that we won't, it's just this way, it's,
I've got a lot of them.
See, what I'm thinking about, down the road 10 years, you're gonna have this
Right,
in there.
Mhm.
And so
That
we
council
gotta
can
make it
change
work
it.
right, so it fits some of the council.
right.
I have to say one thing, though. I noticed a lot of comments on Facebook, I've heard about them, but I don't do Facebook. They've commented about me watching the guy mowing all the time. The reason I'm watching him mowing, we've had nothing but trouble with that lawnmower. They run 2 hours and they quit. They run an hour and they quit. And I want to be there to see what it's gonna do. I think maybe we've now got it fixed after $1,200.
Even then, Kenny,
Okay.
you're on your own time, you can do whatever you
I
want
know, but
to,
I-
whenever you want to.
People say it just, it takes me off.
Okay, so Mickey, did you vote?
Wait a minute, now, we moved your motion, did it pass?
well, we're
I
asking.
haven't voted yet.
I didn't.
I made the motion.
Okay, who said?
Jake seconded it, I said aye. Kenny, are you,
I didn't think I voted.
where you been?
I said I make the motion, we vote on the resolution
Yeah.
2023.
Oh, then I seconded it, okay, then Jake didn't realize I seconded it, so Jake, are you in or what?
Okay.
Sorry, it's,
That's what
And
I
then-
said.
and Kenny, did you say aye?
I said.
Okay, Mickey, all right. Wow, this is a
I'm
tough
gonna
night.
read that back to us.
See, I was right, everybody else was wrong.
One time.
Whatever.
Actually, I didn't want to get on. Discuss and vote on park and recreation.
What are you looking at me for?
Oh. I got a call. No, I thought maybe somebody was gonna take over.
No.
That's your.
It's your baby, Jer.
We got to appoint, We got two on right now, right?
We're on the Park and Rec Committee, as council
What we're
members.
voting on.
Yep,
So I've got 4 applications.
yep.
And did we ever determine the last one was not correct? I mean, 3.
That's what I was told.
Okay, I don't know how to do this. Do it one at a time? Or lay them out there, and they pick 3 out of the 4?
How many people can be on the Park and Rec Committee?
5.
5.
Just a total of 5, and only two of them can be council, and then only 3 citizens.
Yeah, I'm guessing that's in your ordinances, yeah.
Okay,
League of Cities says that.
So I
it's
don't.
your baby, do what you're gonna
I
do.
don't know how you do that. You name off one and they vote on it.
So what you're telling me is you have 4 applicants from the citizens of the city to be on this, Parks and Rec. Yeah, that's how you would do it, is, were the applications disseminated prior to, I think it looks like you all have in your packet. You could vote in mass on which 3, you could go through each individual applicant, and say yeah or nay. It's a 3 out of 4 days, so.
So we can just say the names out here, everybody's gonna know them anyway,
It's
right?
public
Oh,
record.
okay, it's public knowledge. So we have, Linda Hoffman, Amber Richards, and Mandy Krieger, who were all on last year. And then we also have Misty Murphy, who had applied this year. Mickey made the statement at the last meeting that she did not think that Misty was appropriate to be on this committee for the reasons that she stated. I would like to know, and then this must have been a form letter that the other 3 signed, because it's all the exact same.
The night of the meeting, we had Darden, I made one phone call, and Linda Hoffman. This is the one that she lined up her committee that they had left.
So, Misty Murphy, I would just like to point out that she did work with the women's club and got a big donation given to us for our swimming pool that everybody is enjoying. She's also done a little bit of painting for us down at the pool. She's done some volunteer work. So I would like that, no matter how this goes, I think that it needs to be established out there that she has done some things for this town, whether people like her, whether they don't, that's totally up to you, but she has tried to put her foot forward and get some things accomplished in this town. So now, Jerry, I guess it's up to you, or whoever else wants to say something.
And here's also what I want it to be known, that, like, just because we're on the Park and Rec Committee doesn't mean we just call all the meetings. Anybody on this committee can call a meeting and discuss stuff. Everybody knows, because does the roads committee meet on a normal basis? Does the sewer committee meet on a regular basis? They just meet never or as needed. So if you read this, it says we haven't had a meeting since, because we haven't needed one.
Right.
I haven't been called to a meeting, it's not like we didn't. And so.
And I will say that on this form letter, I was elected for the year 2022. The last meeting that we had was on 4/25/22, and no subsequent meetings or discussions happened after this. They all have served on the Park and Rec Commission in the past. Actually, it's a committee, not a commission. And they are happy, eager, and willing to help out in any fashion that they can. That is great. We will take all and any help that we can. I guess after that meeting where some things were discussed, I never had anybody contact me to help do anything, whether it was painting at any of these places or putting in the park equipment down to the park and shoveling around, all of that stuff. Did you see anybody else there? Jake, Kenny?
No.
No. And so I just want to say that's, we'll take all the help that we can get, but the fact that everybody's willing to help, sometimes we need people who are going to take the initiative to say, hey, let's do this. Is this okay? Can we move forward with it? So that's all I have to say on it. Okay, Jerry.
You're up, Jerry.
Okay, I'm gonna read them all.
So are we just voting on each one? How are you doing it, Jerry?
We vote for 3, right? So,
Or you can
I
write
guess
it
I
down.
don't-
You can't have it. secret.
Nope, you can't.
so you just.
I'll give them the way I got them. First one is
Mandy Krieger.
Mandy Critter.
Yes, I vote for her.
Yes.
Linda Hoffman.
Well, they didn't vote.
Oh, you haven't thought about it yet?
It takes me a while to think, Jerry.
Okay.
I'm getting mad.
Okay, sorry.
But I'll
sorry.
say yes, don't push me today. I said yes.
I'm just gonna abstain. Just gonna abstain.
Linda Hoffman.
No.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
I'll abstain.
Amber Richardson.
Yes.
Yes.
I'll abstain.
That's the same as no vote.
No.
I'll abstain.
I'm gonna say yes.
Mr. Murphy.
Yes.
No.
Yes.
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 Now what do we do?
Well,
We already had 3, and then we had enough to pass her through, right? So we have 4 people that we voted on, correct?
If there's a tie, we'll do it over.
You tabulate the votes. Mine should be.
No.
That would be my recommendation, is if you have 2 that have a tying number of yays versus nays. So yays, then you do a runoff for the.
So the last one is in because she got 4 of the 5.
Okay, okay.
All right, I'm asking. And then the other ones. So she's in for sure.
That's what I would say, yes.
Okay, and then we have to figure out the tie vote on one of the other 3.
was it all time?
Okay, we've got 3 for.
We voted 4 people in.
3 for Linda and Amber, and 4, or, I'm sorry, Linda and Amber, 3, Mandy and Misty, 4.
So that means,
So,
Okay, so a runoff between Amber and Linda.
How do you say to do this now?
You
we gotta,
vote on Amber,
yeah, the council now has to decide between
Linda.
Amber and Linda.
Let's go with Jerry.
Amber, Linda,
Linda.
No.
Yes.
Yes.
I'm abstaining.
Same thing as no.
Okay.
yes.
Amber.
Yes.
Yes.
She's a businesswoman too.
what is that?
I'd say no.
I
We're right
abstain.
back where we was.
I abstain.
Are we?
Yeah.
Yes.
So who did that leave us?
Now what's next?
So did Linda get more than Amber?
Yes.
Okay, so Linda, Mandy, and Misty. Linda, Mandy, and Misty.
I thought you said Amber.
Anything else on Parks and Rec? You guys run it. Just the fund, that's, they're handled by.
So, okay.
Discuss and vote on approving and cutting the check for city contribution to the 144 CH Housing Initiative Program.
I'm here if you have any questions. I can just give you an update. We did very well in the application process. We had 26 that were awarded the funding, and 19 of them were in Grand Junction, 4 were from Dayton, 2 from Rippey. And that totaled to be about $17,000 of awards. And I believe Derek Kennedy, our treasurer, has sent an invoice to the city. Did you get an invoice? Because he's trying to move the process along with the funding coming in, because now people are actually completing the projects much further ahead of time than we figured they would. We had given them all the way to November to complete their project and then get their award in. But now we've already had 4 come back with completed projects, so we'd like to be able to go ahead and award them funds. 3 were in Grand Junction, I believe 1 was in Liberty, so
Is it public knowledge who applied and who was awarded?
not specific enough.
Specifically, no, or
No, it's not public knowledge.
it's not
Just
public
using just
knowledge?
the total amount.
Okay, yeah, but I mean,
We don't
if,
go out and tell who did or did not get awarded.
and so the people that did get awarded, nobody gets to know who that is. It's just kind of a big, even though this is public money, grant money that we are giving to them.
But that's our rules to get that grant, evidently.
Well, I'm sure if anyone came to ask Derek at the bank, he would tell them. I mean, it's not.
Well, what I'm saying though is if this is taxpayer money that we're giving out to see who all is getting it, I would be interested in knowing that myself.
But it's not taxpayer money. It's money from the casinos.
Well, he just told me that we can't use the casino money to forward it. You can't get grant money.
This is,
It's a
this
combination,
is 144, this is
Funds.
a different deal.
well,
Is it legal to use the grant money that we got from the Grow Green County toward this 144 initiative program?
Has the council
No,
already?
no. Excuse me
Yeah.
for interrupting. It was for the food program that you gave $200.
Right. And I get why you're saying that, but if we can't use it for that, can we use it for this legally?
Has the council already committed funds to this program?
Yes.
What?
Under the understanding that it would be more beneficial to do that than to refuse it. Than to refuse to do it. That was what I was understanding, that it would be better off for the town if we would play into help this program. It would be better for us in the long run to do that than to refuse it. So yes, we went ahead and we voted it in.
Is it, so I'm familiar with like the facade grant program and stuff like that in Jefferson. Is it they go out and do the repairs and then they request distributions from the funds that have been committed?
Yes.
that application process indicated how much they were asking for, up to a minimum of $1,000. So we've had projects come in at roughly $2,000 all the way up to $60,000 is one major rehab going on.
And the resolution that was passed previously by the council was committing grant funds from Grove Green County
Yes.
Yes,
to this program under the direction of the,
yes.
Of our nonprofit group on 44 Quarter Housing Initiative, yes.
Because
That was
this
voted
is,
back in December, I believe.
yes, and now that you're sitting here so handy, because this is something that they're hoping to have an ongoing
Right.
issue with, and I guess, you know, we haven't voted on this yet, but as long as we're discussing paying it, my issue now with this whole thing is, I think that before we do it again next year, I think that there needs to be a cap on somebody's income that can apply for this, because there are people that I know flat out have gotten it and no more need that help than anybody. And I think that's wrong. I think that's,
I agree with that too.
They changed that, that's what it was gonna be next year.
they've changed it because of the people who applied and got it, and they said there's no cap on it. And
So now it's gonna be your income.
it's based on income. I think
Are we
that,
gonna see- Are we gonna see some guidelines there?
Just a second, we gotta hear from you.
We have not made that decision yet, but we also had people coming in, well, what do you do about very low income? We had no income guidelines for this first year, but I hear what you're saying. And we've already had,
What Derek told.
well, and there's things moving forward, we've already had conversations with Region 12, and now there's other housing programs out there that we can refer people onto, but those are income-based. We've been trying to kind of stay away from the income-based initially, because it was a new program.
right.
But I think you've got a very valid
Well, I mean,
response.
you know,
You're saying like
we-
the same thing?
yeah, I mean, there are people that applied, and I know they flat out applied, and I know they flat out got it, and I also know that they flat out have way more money
Well,
than what they needed for
There's
it.
one point there also, and I think when people start filing applications and paperwork through Region 12, who defines what's on someone's tax statements? That's the income. So they could be making a lot of money over here.
Okay,
making a lot
if
out
you
over there.
own
It's
farm
a
ground,
small business.
right, if you own farm ground and a bunch of other stuff, you don't need our help. That's not right. That's
I'd
not
like
right.
to table this until we get some more guidelines on what they're gonna do.
Well,
we-
this doesn't have
these are
anything to
this
do with
year's
next year.
guidelines. These are this year's guidelines. That was what we're asking for you. We will
I
start
think it's,
a whole new process very soon for the next year.
okay.
And I would also like that put on that it's not for rental property.
Right, and we did have one renter, was approved, but that renter dropped out. So we're kind of covered on that, but I agree with you to not have the renter.
And so once again, it is not public knowledge who received this funding.
We didn't put it out like in a press release.
But any,
But anybody making that inquiry,
yeah,
we would give them that information.
all right.
How about some publicity, taking pictures and showing what this person did or this person?
I thought that was a good idea, but the others said, that's not a good idea, based on what Ogden had done. And that's what we based the program on.
Okay. Somebody wanna,
So just a second, what we're doing today is voting for next year's,
So this is the vote you had in November.
that we said we would give you the money, so why do we have to vote again?
Right, that's.
I don't know, I didn't make the agenda, was it in this month's group of bills?
Because Derek said that.
Jared?
we're voting to cut the
Derek
check
said
to
you need
them
to
now.
check.
Exactly.
So all we have to, I don't think we have to vote on anything because we already voted
To do it.
to do it for last year. This isn't for the next year moving
For
forward.
this year.
Okay,
Because I think he was, under the impression with the Grow Green money coming in around the first of the year, the fiscal year, July 1, that would be the time, sort of a reminder. So we sent him the information out, but he also places something.
do we need to pay all of this? I mean, I get it's only $3,000 or whatever, but,
4,300.
okay, 4,300.
I would request you pay it, right, all as is, so we have that
The whole thing.
going through.
Then we're done with it for the year.
And you figured we gained 17,000.
Yes, including this money that we're talking about. Based on the vote you had that in November.
We gained 17,000 what?
17,000 is total amount.
It came into
Minor
Grand
awarded
Junction with
house.
improvements, is what he's saying.
We're awarding $17,000 of that list, 19.
Not all of the projects are done, and they have until November to get them done, you said. And like in November, that's when you'll really have kind of a grand tally of what is absolutely done, or, because some people still might back out, have that option of backing out if they choose not.
Derek's to tell you that the house that had the fire down here on 19th, 18th of May, that was a house that's in this group. We're not sure if they're gonna be able to go forward now and paint their exterior. We're hoping they will, we don't.
I would like a copy of who got whatever. If you want, you can just give it to Wendy and I'll get it from there. I appreciate that. Okay, somebody want to make a motion here?
To cut a check.
Cut a check. Let's just vote and then it's in the,
For the city council to vote on.
Okay, I make a motion, we cut a check, get this 141 CHI Housing Initiative a check for $4,300. Cut driving down.
I'll second.
Aye.
I,
Department reports. Mayor, I'm at the railroad on that little street, brush dump up to the, they're the ones that use it. I put some more dirt in yesterday morning to level that off. So I went and talked to the railroad, and I said, it'd be nice if you, you're the only ones that use it, it'd be nice if you rock it. Also, the old grocery store, probably a hole this big through that cement, but somebody could fall through.
Going down into the basement?
Going down into the basement.
Okay, so just a second. The old grocery store is not our property anymore, right? I mean,
That's right, but if we see it.
right, so essentially we should be telling the owners of the grocery store,
Right.
who is Misty and
Dennis.
Dennis Murphy.
Dennis Murphy.
So,
But that's Rod's problem, right?
sure, well, sure. Is it Rod's problem?
Well, Rodney,
As
As a code enforcer, yes, Rod, will you please let Misty and Dennis Murphy know about a big hole in their lot?
The next is reimbursement for the gate that got damaged last summer. Did we ever get that? Wendy?
No, we have not. County attorney said that,
That was a police report, and I don't know what was involved in that.
he was indicted and then, I don't know. I had to give him a copy of all of our bills and everything, and then they were gonna go from there, so I'll check with him tomorrow. and see.
Could we, send him a letter and say you can't use the dump till it's paid? Or is that illegal?
It's a city dump,
Yeah.
but it caused damage to it. But
He
it's,
is a tree cutter, and I'm not sure that he's got insurance.
well, we're not hiring him, so it doesn't matter.
Yes, it does. Well, not really, we're trying to protect the citizens, that's one of the.
Yeah, but I mean, if
Yeah,
Susie hires him to cut a tree and he does damage,
supposed
it's
to
not
have-
gonna come down on
we're
that.
supposed to have proof of insurance, and we do that to protect the citizens, so I guess you're right.
I mean, if something happens, it's not gonna be on us, because
Yeah.
we didn't hire him, right?
I guess that's all. You did a fine job out to the brush dump, by the way. I drove, you mowed that for clear down. You're mowing a little more every time. It's still good. The sewer lagoon looks good. You mowed it down. I drove around it. Around the rooms. I guess I don't have anything. Council have anything?
yes. So the swimming pool, I just want to say we've got some amazing people in the county and in the community. We have reached out at different times for donations and the citizens have come through. And we've had a lot of donations down there. So if you go down or hear that something has been gotten down there that's new, it's not coming out of the city budget at all. Just some of the things, and I'm sorry if I've forgotten anybody, we reached out and asked for umbrellas. we had a lot of umbrellas, and we'll be posting everybody's name that donated stuff, but we had a lot of umbrellas donated, which is amazing. We had some concessions donated. We had an anonymous donation for new ropes. Our old ropes were fraying. We had new ropes and a deep freeze a new deep freeze was purchased with donation money because we had somebody donate. It's not here yet, it's coming, a snow cone machine and all the different flavors that you can get for that. We've had lounge chairs donated. So people have just been amazing trying to help keep this pool going. The other thing that we've had really good attendance at is water aerobics in the evenings and adult swim time. The stairs have allowed a lot of people to swim in our pool that would never have been there before. So if you haven't been there yet, please come. And we now have it set up for swim lessons. I think they start next week, otherwise it's on the thing. So the pool is.
And the swim lessons are free.
Yes, the swim lessons are free, and the bank is going to.
There's children there.
Yeah, they're gonna sponsor that. So everybody that's helped us do anything with that, we thank you, and we'll get it posted.
You two have done a great job.
Thank you. We've had help from people that are anonymous, but they have, without people helping us, we could not do the pool.
Somebody told Jan Sherrington, which she repeated at the last Horizons meeting, somebody from out of town went to the pool and couldn't believe how beautiful the pool was for a town.
Yes. It's clean. We've got good lifeguards. We've got a great pool manager. And it's doing great. And the kids are literally eating us out of house and home. Every time we turn around, we're having to buy concessions. I don't know where they're putting all that, but it's amazing. But thank you to everybody. And we hope to have some kind of a family night swim planned, and then maybe some kind of what they call it, a glow something, like at the end of the year that they've had in the past. I don't know what it is, but anyway, so come enjoy the pool, and thank you to everybody.
I have something. How about the manhole risers? Are they ever going to get put in? Have they been put in?
You know where we're concentrating all of our efforts? In the trees.
I know, I understand
And
that.
the roads are falling.
But we need to get those in. It was such a hurry to get those. Can we put those maybe at some
And
point?
we also need a second person for 2 of the manholes, because it's too close to the road, it's unsafe. He can put one in without needing any help, but the other 2, they're too close to the highway.
How long is it going to take to do it?
Well, when are we gonna slow down on trees so we can?
Here's what I say.
I'm saying 2 years from next month.
I'd like to give you time, but it's trees, 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 trees.
I got priorities.
Well, when we get our money, allotted money done this season, but they need to be put in. Also, can we get something for the weeds at the softball field?
I sprayed down once, I'll do it again.
It's horrible. Thank you. Park benches. I know Dean put one of the park benches in, and there's another 2 at least.
Okay.
But if we could get the park benches in, just because there's gonna be a car show down there. So if we can figure out, I mean, again, before Tyler gets another tree dropped or something, if we can take time, I think those
I
need to
think
be.
I'll have time next week, because he was talking about there's something that came up that he's gotta do. So if I can get manhole covers, I'll get Kelly to help me out, and we'll do.
And here's the deal, the manhole covers. Do I just need to sit there in my vehicle while you are doing it? I can block traffic.
We'll probably have to block traffic.
We'll get her done next week.
I mean, let me know if I can help, because if I can,
Can you stop us tonight?
well, if I have to, probably.
Yeah.
If I have to, if it's gonna run somebody over, yes, but I mean, I'm just saying, if there's something I can help
If
with.
they were further away from the road, it wouldn't be bad, but they're right when you turn.
I can put my car with the flashers on and block traffic if I need, so, but I just feel like those 3 things kind of need to be done as quickly, and I get it, if there's a tree down, that's gonna take precedence, but let's put those on the list to
And we
get
did
done.
get a complaint about a pothole tearing up somebody's tire. Well, we have not been able to go down and get any patch.
Kenny, quit trying to take my tree guy. Quit.
But as long as it's on the list, we're aware of it and we're gonna get to it. I think that's a step in the right direction.
We're aware of it.
That is the only things, and I understand, Rod, that you're one person taking care of the trees. I just want to put it on the list so it
I'll
gets
take care
there.
of you next week.
Thank you.
Well,
Yes. I just have one comment, and I'm not gonna bring it up again. The day after our last council meeting, I was at work and my phone rang, and it was a Des Moines number that I didn't recognize. And I thought I better take it because I lost 4 friends the month before that died, and I think who else died. So I answered it, and it turned out to be the League of Cities. And I said, got a question for you. I said, this happened last night at the council meeting. They wanted to amend the agenda. And she said, what for? And I said, well, to raise sewer rates. And she said, no, that was not an emergency. And I said, and then they wanted to take trees down from the derecho 3 years ago. And she said, no, that's not an emergency either. An emergency is an act of God that's happened shortly after. And that's when you do
Well, I never heard anything about taking.
I don't remember anything about the derecho trees. I don't know about
Yeah,
that.
well, then whatever you wanted to take trees
It was
down.
paying Tyler. Oh, that's for trees
That
that
was
are
not an
dead.
emergency, and so that shouldn't have been.
They were dead trees.
And I'm done talking about it, okay?
And I will just finish that up by saying, I also talked to Bill Goldie from the League of Cities on that. And you were correct, you cannot amend the agenda that way. But how we wish that it would have been handled is instead of hollering at us across the room saying, you can't do that, it's illegal, I'm gonna abstain. If you would have explained it to us, that probably would have been better.
anybody have comments?
Fire department.
Fire department.
Oh, wait, library, we're up.
Oh, library.
Yes, summer reading has started, it's Wednesday at 10 a.m. this July. Don't forget, the library is having the breakfast at Summerfest, it'll be here Saturday morning, August 5th, 7 to 9 a.m. And they'll have the insect zoo at 4 o'clock. Is it the community center? Okay.
Really?
It's in the community center, insect zoo.
Great. Hope they get
4
loose.
o'clock.
They'll be,
It's just bugs, it's okay.
It's just bugs.
they're in containers.
I hope so.
Yeah.
I hope so. Not a fan.
That's it. Blue mother.
You get everything done wrong.
Oh, Rod, we skipped you, sorry.
I would like to start working in the summer months 7 to 3. That's all right. It gets way, way too hot from 3, 4, 5 o'clock in the afternoon.
And what do you consider your summer months?
Probably when we're out swimming.
Here is my problem with that. You've got air conditioning in the truck. You've got a really good air conditioner in that tractor, from what I have heard. I get that you're out sometimes doing that, but we also have a swimming pool that has to be checked and chemicals. And sometimes, you know, if you're gone at 3 and then at 4 o'clock, we have something come up, then you're going to have to come back. And the dump then gets closed at 3 o'clock if you're gone. And that has honked off a lot of people because I've heard that. I guess by keeping your hours 8 to 4 and working trees, I get that it's hot. I've done that for 30 years without an air conditioned truck to get into and without a tractor that's air conditioned to get into. And, you know, you're in and out of both of those. If you get too hot, take a break. You don't have to go at it like you're cutting snakes. I don't feel like we're asking you to do anything that I haven't done. I think that your hours need to be 8 to 4 so that you're in town longer for people to see that you're here. If we need you someplace else, you're
Okay,
here.
well, that's fine. It's whatever you guys want to do. It's just if you see me in the truck chilling out, don't stop and say, what are you doing?
Well, here's the deal, you are absolutely allowed to not have a heat stroke.
Right, right.
You know, and absolutely, when it's stinking hot, I expect anyone to take a break. I mean, I don't think any one of us are saying, get out in the heat and whatever.
And
Because you still have ordinance stuff you're
I'm
doing.
not taking it as that. It's just more of a safety issue too, I guess.
Right.
But if you all think, I mean, I can do whatever,
But you know, when it's hot, you know, you get a lot more done in the morning than you do.
But
You're
really,
more productive in the morning.
But our pool does need, I mean, our pool does. need-
right, we need somebody there. And here's the deal, Jerry. He's got air conditioning. He's got air conditioning. He knew the job when he took it, that you're out in the summer. And believe me, I have been there, done that, wrote that book. I know, if you work outside, we're not the only ones that have done that. So to adjust the hours at the expense of maybe people who want to clean up their yard and need into the dump, or something with the pool that is going on. Kenny, you got an opinion?
Well, I think if we see some days that are like a heat wave thing where it says it's gonna be 92 to 95 for a week or so, I think we should
With
adjust.
a bazillion humidity.
I think we should adjust on a hot day like, because it's gonna be a problem.
Well, here's the deal, can't we just say we want the hours 8 to 4 unless you guys
Right,
can kind of confer and
and you guys
you
confirm.
two can maybe, you two can, you know.
Don't just go to one.
Well, see, I would be more tempted to wait to see if it was 118.
I'll tell you what, you just voted for Kenny and I to be in charge. We'll decide the day, you'll call Kenny or call me.
But for the most part, and then if everybody just
If it's in
knows,
the 90s, 95, it's whatever. You know, you don't get nothing done.
You can do an inside job.
there you go, he could be at the office
Yeah,
at 2
we should
o'clock.
Still be here. Yeah.
Right, and then still close the gate at 4. That's a valid point, Jake.
Kenny and I.
Okay, well, it will come up between you, but you heard what Jake said too.
Yeah.
That, you know, and he does have to at some point do some of this, code enforcing stuff. So if it's 100 degrees, do some code enforcing in the afternoon when it gets hot.
There is one thing with Rod, I had to help him. I don't know what the quick catch costs for that tractor.
I asked to get that, but we decided it was too much, but I think it's someplace between 500 and 1,000. I wanted to get that, but we got that back blade and that took a lot of the money.
It took 2 people to unhook it, go in and out of that tractor.
It's not.
Well,
easy.
you know, maybe that's something for next year, and we never had one before. You know, I think that we're moving
We've never had
forward.
this equipment before.
Well, that's the thing, we're moving forward. We can't, I mean, it would be wonderful if we could buy all new
Okay.
stuff all the time, but you know, we don't have the money. We have done a wonderful thing by getting a clam that nobody ever had before, and some of this other stuff. So, you know, you kind of gotta be thankful from what we got.
Consider it.
You know, next year, you know, possible.
Baloney mine.
You know, okay, fire department, sorry, you're up. Oh, fire, sorry, go ahead. Under. Yes.
I just want to say thanks to the volunteers at the pool, the lifeguards, special thanks to Janice and Buzz. They really help out quite a bit. So I hope they're listening. They do a really good job.
And Mrs. Lass is doing a really nice job cleaning all the flowers around this building. Some other places. She needs a letter.
That's it.
Fire department.
Oh, no, you're not the mayor.
I gotta go. I want to thank everybody for coming to our pancake breakfast. Really do appreciate the support. And another thing is, we get something done with the water tower. Is that your guys' problem, or do I go to the water department? We need some water in this town to fight fires. That fire the other day, what happened? More, we would have lost the house. We could fill one truck. One time. And we're out of water. If we go to Dana, we lose the house. We bring Jefferson, we lose the house.
That is,
We need more water.
that's the light water plant, and you may go talk to McClurkin, Jeff Thorpe.
Where are you filling that?
Kate East,
That,
Any Anderson,
any
Robert
hydrant
Paper.
well, whatever one works. I mean, that's
Yeah.
besides the point. I mean, it doesn't really matter. We only get one load. That's the problem.
And then the water
Well, the worst
tower.
part is, it could be your house. We're gonna lose it. We only got one load. And then your guys' house.
And we got that extra stories. I wonder what that we must not be able to do anything with that.
I don't know what you got, what this.
Well, this thing on the side, the DNR made us get extra for those tanks off to the side.
Again, that's a light and water plant, you just need to go to, like I said, McBurkett, Jeff Dorf, any one of the board there.
But thank you for bringing it to our attention
Yes.
too. I mean, I have no idea.
Big issue, so.
Okay.
Do you know that they are gonna do some cleaning in that tower?
Yes, I know that was coming up. I talked to one board member.
And
They think there's gonna be changes, so.
It's-
I don't know.
That'll slow
Yes.
water down through.
Yes.
and it's a water issue. It's not because of
I
our,
get water out of anything.
okay.
I can only get one water.
Okay, that was my question. Was it a specific, like, water, fire hydrant that we didn't have?
And buzzers going off.
Okay. Okay,
Oh, the buzzer in the tower is going up,
Yes,
down.
yes. We can't even wash our floor in our fire station without the buzzer.
I worked in the plant there for a while. I think there must be something wrong with the buzzer. I don't know why that would be.
Do they have the tower lowered? They want to do.
They might, I don't know.
That would be my guess.
No.
It's all computerized, like,
has it always happened? Okay,
but it's just happened within the last
No, it's
year or
been a
two?
couple years.
okay.
Before that, it worked all right, a couple years ago. Well, I mean, it didn't work, out, but it probably worked better than it's working
Well,
now.
it works. We just want water.
All right,
We need more water. If we have a real fire, I mean, a big fire, we're gonna lose it.
Now, suck it out of the pool.
hey,
Hey,
No.
Believe me, if we have a bad fire, it's coming. Sorry.
How's the truck going, all right?
Everything's going great.
okay.
I make a motion that we adjourn the meeting.
Second,
Aye.
Motion to.
You know, Phil's not answering something.
Yes.